I gotta say, I think this could work. Hear me out. We all know that Disney's live-action adaptations aren't that great, but it's not due to their story, because their animated counterparts have been successful and continue to do well, which begs the question, why aren't these live-action adaptations just as popular? The answer is execution. Without proper execution, Lord of the Rings, Pirates of the Caribbean, Harry Potter, and John Wick would not be the phenomenal films they are acclaimed to be today. Here are examples of films that aren't as successful. Cats, Artemis Fowl, Dolittle, Batman vs Superman, and Star Wars Rise of Skywalker. These films had everything going for them, from the studios they were being developed by, the directors, and the budget, but they still failed. I wonder why. Out of all these live-action adaptations that Disney has done, I do believe Lilo and Stitch could work. It's weirdly one of Disney's more grounded stories, which in my opinion makes it more relatable compared to Beauty and the Beast or The Little Mermaid. For those who haven't seen the animated movie, here's a recap. The alien Stitch crash lands on the island of Hawaii and becomes a little girl's pet to prevent themselves from getting captured by other aliens that want to imprison him or dissect him. Just by hearing that, you're probably thinking, how is this relatable? I know I made it sound more like a sci-fi alien adventure movie, but really it's not. This movie is about two sisters that live in Hawaii. Here's a recap of the main plot of the story. Due to a fatal car accident, Nani is shouldered with the burden of having to take care of her younger sister Lilo. The two of them don't always get along, which is typical for siblings. Unfortunately, due to issues Stitch causes, Nani loses her job and struggles to find a new one that, again, Stitch unintentionally sabotages. This only makes it worse as Nani is given a deadline to find a new job, and if she misses that deadline, Lilo will be taken away from her. When you hear that, it puts the story in a whole new perspective. Also, I can't help but draw similarities to another film. Has anyone seen the movie The Outsiders? The film follows the story of the youngest Curtis brother Ponyboy. Like Lilo, his parents are no longer around and he too struggles to get along with his older brother Daryl. Ponyboy and his other brother Soda Pop are underage, so they are at risk of being taken away from their brother Daryl. What makes these two characters similar is that they don't fully grasp the pressure their older sibling is under to keep their family together. Neither of them are ignorant of that fact, but what keeps them from worrying about it so much is their older siblings, Daryl and Nani, who are shouldering all of that for them so Ponyboy and Lilo can have a childhood. The usage of sibling relationships has been done plenty of times to make the story more relatable to its audience, despite whatever setting it takes place in. Remember Slumdog Millionaire, Series of Unfortunate Events, Little Women, Hocus Pocus, The Parent Trap, and the Rugrats movie? The driving force for all of these films is the relationship between the siblings. The reason these movies have aged well enough and have their place in cinema is because they're well balanced. If these stories were just about the siblings, it would kinda be boring, so of course a conflict of some kind has to be put in to make it more entertaining, but it should never overshadow the main focus of the story, which is the siblings. That's what makes Lilo and Stitch and all these other movies well balanced in my book. The alien aspect does not overshadow the sisters' struggle to stay together. I will say, in The Outsiders, the social class issue and gang violence does take precedence in the narrative rather than focusing on the brothers, but it's still a good movie and I do encourage you to watch it. With these examples I've given, it stands to reason that a live-action Lilo and Stitch can work, but for it to work, it will heavily depend on the writers and director, which unfortunately does not give me much hope due to Disney's previous live actions. My fear for this adaptation is that the writers might focus a little more on the aliens because they'll want to appeal to the child demographic as much as possible so they can market on the characters and toy sales, which means for them to do that, they'll most likely give the aliens more screen time, which leads to another concern. It's no secret that the quality of VFX in Disney and Marvel movies have been declining. A lot of VFX artists are pissed off at Marvel, which is owned by Disney, and most of the experienced ones refuse to work with them anymore, which begs the question, how good can we expect the VFX to be in the movie? Disney has received immense criticism for their live-action adaptations, and I too have made videos about it. Part of their problem, amongst the many other issues, is that Disney is relying too much on nostalgia. I know I'm not the first person to say this, and I know I'm late to the party when calling Disney out for this. Growing up, I liked this movie alright as a kid, but now as an adult, I have a newfound appreciation for a lot of older movies, not just older Disney movies. If this movie is going to have any chance at being successful, the writers are going to have to focus on what originally made this movie successful in the first place. It has the potential to do well. Will it? We'll just have to wait and see. Normally, I don't do videos like this, and honestly, when I heard Disney was doing another live-action remake, I rolled my eyes like the rest of the internet did. But when I took the time to think about the story, I do see it. I have seen it in other movies, like The Outsiders and Slumdog Millionaire, which gives me a little bit of hope that it can work, but again, that's going to entirely depend on the writers and what they choose to focus on. Thanks for watching, and like and subscribe!